Welcome. So it's been a long day for me. We've been in the studio here working all day, making videos. We've made nine? I think this is the ninth video we've made today. Wow, tired. But I have people who asked and say we'd like a long-term review of the Surface Pro X, and also some people were asking about some advice I can give in choosing what is the most suitable laptop for your use case, laptop or tablet. If you're in the market shopping for a laptop and you want some advice on what to look out for, what to influence your choice, or if you just want to know how the Surface Pro X has held on with me for over 2 months. I've been using now the Surface Pro X SQ2, so the 2021. This is the review of the Surface Pro X after I've used it for 2 months and my advice on getting a laptop. You're welcome. So here it is, the Surface Pro X, the 2020 model. So this is the one with the SQ2 chip that I've used for 2 months. It's been my everyday computer, and it's going to be my everyday computer for a long time to come because I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. Let me tell you what I've learned using it for 2 months, what I like, what I don't like about it, and then at the second end of this video, I'm going to tell you some of my advice if you're in the market for a good laptop, what you should look out for. And then lastly, I'm going to tell you my verdict on this guy. Is it good enough? Is it one of the things you should consider if you're looking for a laptop? We'll see. So starting with this guy, the first thing you need to know about this device, it is that it's an absolute beauty. I don't think there is a device out there in the market today in terms of laptop and tablet in that whole ecosystem that is this pretty, this nice. It's just an absolute beauty. Microsoft killed it with this one. So it's if you didn't watch my unboxing, it's a beautiful device to have. It's pretty, it's slim, like really slim. It's as slim as my phone, and my phone is slim. It's lightweight. It's got a 13-inch screen, 3:2 aspect ratio. I chose the black because I just like it. It's beautiful. However, it's a fingerprint magnet. I don't know if you can see that, but the fingerprints stick on the black a lot. But it's still it's too beautiful. I don't know. Everybody says the platinum one is also beautiful, but I couldn't pass this by. It's just so beautiful. Now, you have this in your hand, and this is both your laptop and your tablet. I don't know what else you could ask for. For me, this is absolutely everything I need. So let's talk about how this guy has held up for 2 months. Starting with the features of this guy, just a quick run through on the features. So on the top here, there's nothing, just plain. On the right hand side, if I'm holding it on landscape mode like a normal computer, on the right hand side, you've got the power button up here, and you've got the Microsoft charging port. I like the Microsoft charging cable because I think it's extremely lovely to use, and I like the magnetic hold on it, so if you're just walking past and you kick on it, no problem, it just pulls off, it saves your device. So that's all you have here, the charging port and the power button. On the other side, you've got the volume rocker for up and down up here, and then two USB-C port. They are not Thunderbolt, but they're pretty good, pretty fast. USB 3, I think it's 3.1, it's good. USB-C Gen 3, that's actually what is correct. USB-C Gen 3, 2 ports. There's no normal USB A on this device because it's too slim to have that, so it's just two USB-C, and I absolutely like it. At the bottom, what you have is just the connector for the keyboard, so magnetic connector, so it just clicks in, and the magnet is pretty strong. Let's see how that holds. So really good. So yeah, ouch. So that's what you have at the bottom, nothing else. At the back, the Microsoft logo, and it's got a beautiful camera. I hardly ever use this camera, but it takes really good picture. It's very good. All the reviews are good. If you want to, I'm not going to be taking some pictures for you. There are a lot of that on YouTube, but it's a very good camera. I hardly use it. And then it's got a front-facing camera, which is the one I use mostly for meetings and all of that. It's got stereo microphones, 2 of them here, so the sound is really good. When you do video calls on this thing, it is absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. The audio, the video is crisp, is beautiful. That is a great plus for this. I don't know what Microsoft did with it, but it's the best I've used for video calls, for Teams meetings, any kind of video on this. It's absolutely good. And then Microsoft has this feature now on Windows 10 on this device and on a few devices where you don't have to look at the camera when you are making calls. So you can look, at the center of the screen, and it can track your eyes. I don't know how that works, but it's just good that you don't have to stare at the camera, and it still looks like you're staring at the person directly. So that's a good feature. What else? It's got the Windows Hello. So if I press it and I just wake it up by looking at it, it's on. So it works really good. So yeah, so that's the general aesthetics on this guy. Outside, everything is beautiful. I bought it with the keyboard and the slim pen combo. I mean, you can't use this device without the keyboard. It's a tablet, but it's also a computer, so you have to have the keyboard. The keyboard is good. Like I showed you, it's magnetic, it clicks well, you can type on it very well. I love it. So let's talk about some of the key features of this computer. The design, I just showed you everything about it. It's nice. The pen, it works well. I'm not an artist, but it meets my need more than enough. I write a lot on it, and it absolutely works well. The keyboard works great. I like that when I'm using the pen and I'm making a presentation, the pen can be used as my mouse to skip to the next slide by just pressing on this button here. So that works very well. I like that. So you can skip to the next slide when you make a presentation. That's good. You can also open some apps, and you can configure what this does when you press the pen once. Can you see that? You press the pen once, it brings your board for drawing, the whiteboard, so you can draw, you can write, you can do anything. So that's a shortcut that you can configure for the pen. And of course, you can see I can erase with the pen and write with the pen. So if I write something here and I double click on the pen, it takes a screenshot of it, sniping. So that's also a shortcut you can configure. So the pen is very handy. It's basically your mouse, your writing and everything, and it does all that for you. So the Surface Pro X, when you dock it into the keyboard, it switches to normal computer mode. So if you go to the settings, you can see now that tablet mode is turned off. But once you pull it out, automatically it goes to tablet mode. So that's something to note for, and I like that it goes to tablet mode on its own once you take off the keyboard. It's got a lot of nice features. This a lot of nice features on it. So yeah, I like it. So let's talk about a few things. So that's the pen, the keyboard. This is the Alcantara keyboard. It's nice. People talk about how the key travel is not good, but for me, it's, I mean, I'm not a typist. I don't type a lot, but it does. I've always liked the Microsoft Surface keyboard. It's exactly everything I want. I don't need anything more from a keyboard. This is perfect for me. It's the same keyboard exactly for all your Microsoft Surface Pro devices, just that this is a different type of connector, so you only connect to the Microsoft Surface Pro X, and of course it's got this slot for the pen, sits here, and when you dock it in, it starts to charge. So there's a little light there that comes on and it's charging the pen while it's docked in. So that's good. You can put it up if you want to get some travels, some angle when you type, or you can put it all the way down. So, and the magnet is very good. So yeah, I like that. Most times I just use it like a tablet. 90% of the time I'm using it as a tablet, but when I want to use it as a laptop mode, I just dock it in, and in the flow it changes out of tablet mode and you go. So the keyboard is good. I like the travel. I like the trackpad. It's some kind of glass, and it's really nice. It's really nice, smooth, very effective. I don't need anything more. It's absolutely what I want. So let's talk about the software, because this, remember, is the Microsoft Surface Pro X. It's not the traditional x86 Windows. This is Windows on ARM. Okay, so basically it's a different type of language for Windows. So if an app is written just for traditional Windows x86, the 64-bit, it may not run on this. There's an emulation coming that will make it run, but for now it's only 32 bits app that run on it. So what does that mean in English language? It means that there's some specific app that you may want to use that as of today may not run on this machine or will run slow. However, I don't have even one. I don't have any app that I want to use that I cannot use. But that's my use case. So that's why this is a very divisive, this divides opinion on its use, because it depends on the kind of app you use and what you do with your computer. So if you do a lot with your computer that are apps that are x64 apps, they may not run or they may not run fast enough on this device. For my use case, like I said, there's absolutely nothing I want to do that this machine cannot do. It's all the apps are either native configured or they are emulated and they work for me. So I have absolutely no need. So I have zero regret in using this. Now, the other thing I talk about, okay, on the software, you have to also know that Microsoft is rolling out the 64-bit emulator. It's been tested on the Insider channel, which I belong to, but I'm not testing on this device. So in a few months, we probably will have that released for everybody to be able to use on Windows on ARM. So if you have a Windows on ARM machine, if the Microsoft Surface Pro X or any of the Windows on ARM machines, you'll be getting 64-bit emulation very soon. That means you'll be able to do some more apps, run some more apps that today you may not be able to run on this machine. Apart from that, if I give you this machine, you will not notice the difference between traditional Windows and Windows on ARM. That's because for a regular user, everything works perfectly. So that's the issue with the software. For me, there's no issue. I'm not a heavy user of computer, so who do I advise this for? If you're a heavy user, if you're using specific programs, you're doing some engineering software, architectural software, you're a heavy gamer, video editor, you won't be using a thin light device like this, and certainly not Windows on ARM at this time, because some of the specific apps for your use case may not work on this machine. For my use case, for a regular computer user, you do all your Word, Excel, you're on the web, you do everything a regular computer user uses. This is absolutely perfect. There's nothing you need that this cannot do. Okay, so let's talk about the battery life. Well, the battery life is actually one of the things I like about this device, and I like about Windows on ARM generally, because with the ARM chip, the ARM processor that is here, it's very efficient. It's like what you have on your mobile phone. It's very efficient, so you have better battery life because the programs are running what in computer science we call reduced instruction set computing. So the RISC, meaning it's quicker programming, shorter codes, shorter instruction sets, so it's more efficient. You can do more with less. So the battery life carries me easily the whole day. Now, what this has taught me using this, which is what I like, I think is what I like the most about this device, is the fact that I now use my computer like my phone. So what happens is I wake up in the morning and I throw this into my bag. I do not go out with my charger. That is the absolute best thing that I like about having this device. It's like going out with your phone. You know, you don't go out with a charger when you go out with your phone. But you know, with your laptop, you always have to take the laptop bag and you put, you know, the power brick and the charger inside. For this device, I absolutely don't need it. I go out every day just with this. And when I come in the evening, I dock it and I charge to the morning, just like I do my phone. So it's making computing portable, just like your phone. So every day when I wake up in the morning and I'm going to the office, I just throw this in my bag and I go. And when I come back in the evening, I charge it. I don't have, because the battery easily carries me the whole day, every day. So like I said, I'm not running some wicked software. I'm not playing games on it all day or things like that. So I'm not that kind of heavy user. If you're that kind of user, you probably will need to charge in the middle of the day or something. For my use case, which is normal using of a computer, it easily carries me through the day, almost every day. So I do not need to go with the charger. And that, for me, stirs up a shift in my mindset. Because all of a sudden, I'm able to use a computer like I'm using a phone. Like I'm not thinking of, is it going to die on me? Just like I'm not thinking about my phone. I just wake up in the morning and I take my phone and I go. And that for me is the best thing with this. Is the number one reason why I like this, why I enjoy using it. The battery life is not amazing. It's not going to carry you for 2 days, or you know, it's not that kind of battery life, but it works perfectly for me, exactly as I want it. Okay, so the battery life is good for this device. For me, it's okay. It carries me the whole day. Like I said, do I recommend it for you? If you're a regular user of the computer, you are not doing anything crazy, you're not running some software, some specific software that may not run on Windows on ARM, then I can recommend it. If you have such kind of use case, then of course you need a different kind of device. Do I want something else? Is there something I would have loved Microsoft to do with this? Maybe a stronger chip in the next version. This is the SQ2 chip. Is slightly stronger than the SQ1, slightly more powerful, but maybe a more powerful chip will be good for the next edition of this, and maybe stronger battery life, as long as they don't sacrifice on this thinness, because I really like the size. I'm okay with the battery life. If it's going to be bigger than this, then I don't want it. Let's stick with the battery life. So just a slight improvement here and there without adding to the bulk, that will be good for me. Which leads me to the other part of this video, your things to consider if you're going to if you're in the market for a laptop. Like I said earlier on, it's a function of your use case. So if you're a heavy user, you don't want to buy a light laptop like this. So depending on your use case, I would say think of what you're going to do with your machine before you buy. Don't just buy a machine because it's trendy. So if you are a heavy user, you have to think of, if you're on Intel's, if you're on Windows, you have to use an Intel's or an AMD chip that is fast, that's powerful. For Intel, it's something like an i7 or an i9 processor, depending on your use case for a laptop. For a regular user, I don't really like the Core i3 processor. It's a regular, but I think just to be on the safe side, it's always good to buy a Core i5. It gives you all the power you need. But for me, prefer Windows on ARM simply because it gives me efficiency, better battery life. It can be a slimmer device like the Surface Pro X, and it's nice. If you are in the Apple space, I would advise you, the Apple has this new chip, the M1 chip, on their new machines. If you're going to buy an Apple machine at this time, please buy a machine that has the M1 chip, because all the reviews says this chip is absolutely amazing, and this is just the first generation of that chip. So there's no need buying an Intel's chip or an AMD chip in a MacBook Air or MacBook Pro or Mac Mini at this time. Buy a machine that has an Apple M1. So if you're looking for a machine, buy something powerful for your use case. For me, if I'm going to advise you candidly, if you're buying a computer in 2021 or even from 2015 or thereabout, I cannot use a computer that is not a touch screen. I just can't. Because to be able to write on your computer, to just take notes and write, that is an absolute necessity for me. That's the reason I can't use a MacBook Air or a MacBook Pro, because Apple will not just make it touch screen. They want you to get the computer and the iPad Pro, so you have to have two devices. But this is one device, the Surface Pro lineup, whether you're buying the X or the Surface Pro 7 or any of the Surface Pro lineup or even the Surface Book. It gives you this option to be able to have a tablet that you can pull out and use as a tablet. You can write on it, you can watch content on it lying on your bed without the keyboard coming in your way. So for me, touch screen is necessity in a device, and I will strictly advise that. I would recommend that you watch some videos on YouTube to see all the science about how when you write, you actually improve your productivity and your creativity in your mind. So writing is good. You notice that sometimes you're just writing on paper and you lose those paper. When you're writing on your note, I have got notes here from 7-8 years since I've been using OneNote. All my notes are in one place. I don't use paper anymore. Anything I want to find out from my scripture notes, from my engineering notes, personal notes, everything is here. Even my YouTube notes, everything are here. So I come in here and I search for something from 5-10 years ago. It's all there in my OneNote, and there are many note apps. I think personally, I would not advise you to buy a laptop in 2021 that is not touchscreen, that you can write on it, that doesn't come with a stylus and a screen that you can write on. Because then you need to take paper and books everywhere you're going to, and that's just outdated and unproductive. If you're going to be spending money to buy a computer, you might as well just buy a touchscreen computer. That's my candid advice for anybody. But if you have so much money and you don't mind carrying the bulk, you want a tablet that you can write on, and then you also want a separate laptop, then great. So I would absolutely recommend the Surface Pro lineup for any user, and they're more powerful. If you're a powerful user, you buy the Surface Book, the Book 2 or the Book 3. For powerful users, for people who do AutoCAD and all that kind of thing. If you're a regular user, you need some power, you do some gaming, some video editing, the Surface Pro 7 or the Surface Pro 8, which is going to come out very soon, any of those devices are good. But if you're not a heavy user and you just want a sleek, beautiful device, then the Surface Pro X is absolutely for you. So I would always recommend the Surface Pro, simply because you can write on it, simply because it's a two-in-one device. It's a tablet and it's a laptop in one. In conclusion to this seemingly long video, do I like this device? Absolutely yes. Will I buy it again 10 times over? I love it. Does it do everything in my use case? Absolutely yes. Will it work for every use case? Absolutely no. There's no computer that works for every use case. So find your use case. If you need power, don't buy this. If you need a regular Windows because you run some specific program that is only configured for x86, then don't buy this. But if you're a regular user, then buy this. And it's expensive, it's not exactly cheap. So the beauty comes at a cost. So if you have the money and you can afford it, I will absolutely recommend it. If not, there are other devices from HP, from Dell, that are cheaper, that can do more power. But again, like I recommend, buy a touchscreen device, something you can write on, something you can take notes on, you can draw, you have a thought, you can just put it down and you don't lose it because it's always there on your device. So that is my review of the Surface Pro X, as well as my advice for consideration if you're buying a new device. I hope you learned something. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, like the video, ding the notification bell so you know when we have new videos in the channel. Thank you for watching and see you in the next one.